Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. We are joined today by Tim Goodrich. He is a councilman in the city of Torrance, which to me is kind of a crown jewel in the South Bay. We don't want to tell too many people about it because then they may move to Torrance. It really is a great place, I must say. You must love living in Torrance.
Absolutely. I'm so proud of our city.
I want to talk about Amo Fashion Center. I can't help myself, but what an amazing mall you have in Amo.
It is.
Tell us about it for those that aren't familiar with Amo.
Well, we're very fortunate. A little bit of history.
Please.
At one point in time, it was the largest mall in the entire country.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think we're 5th place now,
Okay.
if memory serves me correctly.
But I wonder if you've gone up because you're expanding.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Right.
There were hundreds of millions of dollars in revitalization money went into the Amo Fashion Center. And the end result has just been phenomenal. In fact, that Amo Fashion Center is looking at doubling their revenues over 4 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a huge number. And it's not as if we were in the doldrums of a recession. I mean, 4 years ago, we're already coming out. So that says a lot about it. Of course, I don't mean to turn this into a commercial, but Din Tai Fung is opening up or has opened up. One of the best Asian restaurants I've ever been to. That's new. Pink's, Open Sesame Grill, Bibigo, Lemonade, a great kind of,
Yes.
The name is a bit deceiving. Brio Tuscan, you got new sporting goods. I mean, how is it that you've been able to attract so many well-known establishments to Amo?
Well, I think it's because, first of all, Torrance is the largest city in the South Bay.
Right.
But second of all, just the infrastructure we have is phenomenal. The schools are great. Torrance is really the place to be in the South Bay.
And let's talk about the infrastructure, because I guess there's a crossing. Explain that to me at Amo when you rehabbed it.
Right across the street, some developers came along, and this building, which was in need of redevelopment.
Okay.
They're putting $35 million into it. They're going to have a 24-hour fitness super sport.
Got it.
More restaurants over there.
Got it.
And it's just part of the entire package of that area of the Amo Fashion Center.
And you mentioned restaurants, and clearly in the age of Amazon, restaurants will continue and probably will thrive even more because people will go out to dinner. They may not go to a brick and mortar store, but they're going to go out for lunch and dinner. And so it's good to see that even in Old Torrance, we're seeing a revitalization.
Yes.
So tell us about Old Torrance.
Well, Old Torrance, we've got our old standbys, including the Red Car. In fact, they're the original brewery in Torrance, and Torrance has a fast-growing brewery scene that's really put us on the map. We've got 10 breweries in the city now.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're tucked away in these
cool.
warehouses and these light industrial buildings, and it's really put us on the map. We've had a lot of beer tourism because of that.
What about arts and entertainment? Because look, we are in Southern California, and we fancy ourselves as it relates to enjoying a night out. Tell us about what Torrance has to offer.
A lot. We've got a lot of art galleries that are opening up in Old Town Torrance. We also have our Civic Center, which is a top-notch facility. We just actually put a lot of money into that in the last year's budget to revitalize that, upgrade the lighting, upgrade the dance floor, all those things. We've got lots of different arts groups coming through there and putting on great performances for any age group to come
Torrance
and see.
Theater Company, Downtown Antique Fair. I mean, lots going on,
Yes.
arts-wise. I want to talk about another project, and if we were talking a year ago, the focus may have been different. But the reality is, even though it's been raining, and we appreciate the rain, we still need to look at water and water supply and water infrastructure. I mean, Torrance has close to 200,000 residents. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
150,000.
yeah, so I mean, you're up there. You're definitely one of the bigger cities in the region. And so you're looking at ways to improve your water supply. Timing's great.
Right.
Talk to us about what you're doing on the waterfront.
Well, especially with these last 5 years of drought that
Right.
we've had on a California-wide basis, I think it's very smart that our city has had the foresight to look at local control. And we've invested heavily in our local water resources. For example, right now we're working on the North Torrance well field, which will improve that. And by the time that's done, we're going to have about 50% of our water needs for the city supplied locally.
And let's really dig into that, if I can use that cliche, because what that well field will be is a new groundwater supply. And as I understand it, you're going to be building an actual storage tank,
3 million gallons.
a treatment facility. I mean, this is serious. You're really looking at trying to turn this. And like you said, I guess there'll be 5,600 acre feet of water. 1 acre foot is like 2 football fields filled, 3 feet high, I think it is. And so you're going to have a huge amount of water, potable water for your residents.
Yes. And not only the residences, but also our businesses.
Right. How have you been able to do this over the last few years?
Just having that foresight, I think,
Right.
has been critical. Not only this council, but the council before me. Took a look at it, and it makes sense all around. And there's a reason why Torrance water rates are at the very lowest end of the scale
Really?
in terms of water rates region-wide.
I want to speak with you also more broadly about water and water projects because, as you know, in 2014, the voters of the state were generous and they passed Proposition 1, the water bond, $7.545 billion, lots of money for projects above ground storage, below ground storage. Money isn't being spent yet, but be that as it may, it looks like it's going to start. Is Torrance looking at Prop 1 as a revenue source for this project or others?
We look at Prop 1, we look at all sources of funding.
Right.
Anywhere we can get it,
Right.
any way we can improve the services that we're providing to our residents, we're going to take advantage of that.
And along those lines, I want to talk about transportation and transportation projects, infrastructure projects. I know over the last couple of years, Torrance has spent significant amount of money, a significant amount, on roads, curbs, sidewalks, about $14 million in 2015, $5 million in 2016. That's serious. That's a serious amount of money. Why has Torrance made this a priority?
Because the residents have come to us and they said that, you know, our roads are in need of repair. We recognize that.
Clearly.
And we've invested heavily in that. In fact, slurry seal, are you familiar
Right,
with that?
I've learned it thanks to you. Tell me about it.
Okay,
What's slurry
so
seal?
instead of just digging up an old road that's become decrepit and no longer usable, waiting that long, instead of waiting 20 years, maybe we go 5 years and we just put a thin layer over top of it.
Oh, interesting.
So that way the water doesn't seep down into those cracks and make it even worse. So
Right.
it can extend the life of the roadway at a cheaper cost. We've done 16.5 million square feet in the last 2 years.
Fantastic. Councilman, I want to talk about the future of infrastructure spending because we have two kind of trains that look like they're leaving the station. We have the Sacramento train, and what is that? California is now run by Democrats in a 2/3 supermajority.
That's right.
And those Democrats are very clear they want to spend money on transportation projects. We are completely backed up on transportation projects. In Washington, D.C., we have another train leaving the station. That's the Republican train of Donald Trump, who's talking about infrastructure spending. You know, for different reasons, but now we have two potential pots of money. Is Torrance lining up, getting ready to jump on those trains?
Well, it'll be interesting to see if those two trains line up. And
I don't know if this cliche is working, but indulge me if you may.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if
Right.
that actually comes to bear. But if it does, trust me, we're going to have our staff on it and applying for any grant funding
Right.
that might come along.
And what we know, there's also Measure R, I failed to mention, which was the bond, or it was a sales tax measure that was passed through LA County, Torrance, of course, in LA County. When we look at these funding sources, what we also know is that often they want to see you have what's known as shovel-ready projects. Are you starting to go down that path where you're really looking like, if these grant applications become open, we need to be ready?
Well, one project that we are actually have our shovels in the ground
Already.
right now is the transit center, Park and Ride Transit
Right,
Center, which
right.
will improve the transit options for our residents and also residents on a region-wide basis.
Right. I know you're looking at the
And
green line for the future.
The green line is actually, that wasn't included in the Measure R funding, which is one of the reasons why Torrance was opposed to it.
Well, we'll
We've
have to
been
talk about
requesting
that.
that for decades.
We'll have to talk about that when you come back.
Okay.
He is Tim Goodrich. He is a councilman in the city of Torrance. My name is Brad Pomerance. It's Local Edition. Great job. Thanks, man. Thanks, man. So come back.
I wanted to get in there. Any MTA officials listening?
Is that true?